Hello, it is I once again, Ramza, reporting to you live from hell. I actually had my, I think, sixth shot on Wednesday, but Dad got home right as I was about to make my video, and then yesterday I was just like dead. Um, so here's my video now. So since I usually don't really have anything particular that I talk about in my videos, I decided I would do something to uh, fix that. So I decided that I would answer questions that I haven't gotten from viewers, because I don't get questions from viewers. I think the most views I have on any of these videos is like 29 on my first video, and I think I've been getting like 4 on my last few. So I don't get questions, but I'm gonna pretend I do, and then I'm gonna answer them. So the first question that I haven't been asked is how I picked my name. I actually went through a few names to get to Ramza, which isn't my legal name, but I'll get to that. So before, of course, I had my birth name, which I'm not going to say because I'm not comfortable with it. I mean, I like the name, but it's not me, and I would rather people not know it so they don't think of that name and like think of me. And then I went, when I was like 13, I think, I was like looking for a name, and my friend made a joke, like a Pokemon joke, and then I went by Ash for a while until I was like around 15, I think. And I was like, nah, that's not quite me, I should pick something else. So then I was debating names for a long time, and I was like, I had a few that I was thinking about, but none of them quite fit, and then I just ended up going, well, I'll just use the name that my parents would have named me if I was born with a dick. So then I got Maxwell, and that's my legal name now. It's just been legal since I was also about 15. And I'm 18 now, so that's weird. I think around maybe March, so I guess around a year ago. Yeah, around March last year, I was like, this name doesn't quite fit either. It's kind of weird. So, at least with my closer friends and people online, I started going by Ramza, which is, I think it's actually a real name in some places, but it's the name of a video game character that means a lot to me. So I've been going by Ramza for about a year now, I guess. Not really with like family or anything, because it's a new video game character. They all just call me Max or Maxwell. I don't know. So that's how I got to Ramza. Second question from no one. How I got to discovering gender stuff. So when I was 11, just like 2 months before turning 12, I started cosplaying. And I won't say what my first one was, but it's bad. But so my first con, I met some people who ended up being really good friends, and I'm still friends with most of them now, actually. So I've been friends with them for like five, 6-ish years, something. Yeah, close to 6, I think. That's weird. I think like 6 this September. Freaky. Um, but so they were all like older than me. I mean, they still are. 'Cause that's how it works. But so through them, I started learning about like various different genders and sexualities. Because I mean, I was like 12. I hadn't really ever thought about any of that. But so literally like the second day of the con, I was like, I'm not straight. Because it's like, oh, there's hot girls here. There's hot boys here. Huh. So, like the second day, we were driving home from the con, and I was like, Dad, I think I'm bisexual. And he was like, oh, okay. Which is cool. I know a lot of people don't get that kind of support, and I'm very thankful for it. Uh, Maybe a few months later, like that next March, I think, one of my friends was like, it's like 2-ish years older than me, I think. Was like explaining like pansexuality, and I was like, oh, I'm actually that. Whoops. so when I was like, I guess also 12, uh, discovered I was pansexual, so that was cool. Then around, I would say, not that year, but the next year, around the con that we go to like every year, so like September, I was cosplaying another male character, like I usually do, and I didn't really think anything of it for a while, but at that point, I had a friend who was identifying as trans male at the time, and I was like, oh, what's that? And so I started looking into it, and I realized that when I was binding, when I was cosplaying that character, I felt a lot more comfortable with myself, like than I usually would, just not binding and such. And I felt more comfortable with people being like, look at that cute boy. And it was just like really nice for me. And I was like, oh, I'm trans. So I guess when I was 13, yeah. And then I turned 14 a few months later. But when I was 13, I discovered I was trans. And for like 2, maybe 3 years, I identified as a trans male. Like that just specifically, which is still close, but around the time I was like 16, I think, I was like, that doesn't feel quite right. I mean, I'm not a girl, definitely I'm not a girl at all. That's not me. That's not me. I like a lot of feminine things, and traditionally feminine clothing people would associate with feminine stuff. I still like a lot of that, but I'm not a girl. No, not at all. I was like, that's not quite me. And around that time, I was just learning about like non-binary identities and such. So I was looking into that, and I was like, that's me. That's me. So it's been a lot of changes with identity, usually just going from one term and then learning more about it and then going to the next various thing. So right now I identify as non-binary. I've been questioning being a demiboy for a while, but I haven't been quite sure about it. I still don't know really exactly where that is with, I don't know. I'm not quite sure about that. I've been thinking about it for a few months at least. Actually, probably closer to a year, but at this point anyway. I'm not sure about that, but non-binary is a comfortable term. I'm just not quite sure. I don't know. Testosterone is definitely the right thing though, because without it, well, it's just in general, it's something I've wanted for a long time, like 5, 6-ish years, I guess. My dad came in and I forgot where I was, but so anyway, confused about my gender. Testosterone is good. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Oh, so yes, testosterone is the correct choice. Without it, it would be people just looking at me, listening to my voice, and assuming that I was a woman, and I'm not. I'm not that. And that's something I'm very uncomfortable with. And with testosterone, not only has my voice deepened a lot, so like people just listening to me on the phone or whatever, hopefully wouldn't just assume that I was a woman. But then eventually, once my appearance starts to change more, that'll be nice too. Oh boy. So that way when they look at me, they're not just like, a lady, because that's not correct. So that's gender and such. Oh yeah, my voice, it's weird. I don't know. For my first video, I was more like up here, kind of. It's weird that my voice used to be this high. It's like forcing myself way up higher now, and it doesn't feel like this was ever my voice. Like now it's just down here, just normally. Like this is about how deep I used to be able to force my voice, and now it's just like this is how I always talk. It's weird. I like it though. Okay. This video is actually kind of long. But one. So the third question and last one that I also didn't get from anyone. Reception on all of this from like friends and family. Friends, everything's fine. We're all queer as fuck. I know some people aren't quite lucky in that, where it's like they have a bunch of cishet friends and they're just sitting there like alone. But all my friends are fucking queer. We're all big gays. We party. We like to scream. Family, I'm also very lucky in this regard. Sometimes confused, and I can understand why. I'm a bit confused sometimes myself, but very supportive, very just like, okay. Very well-meaning, even if they don't always get things quite right. But I mean, since it's been so long, they're a lot better than they used to be. But they're trying. Both my parents were born in the 60s. My dad understands a lot better. My mom understands, but I don't see her as often because my parents are divorced and I live with my dad. But that's they're cool with it. My sister is also queer, and that's cool. So she's good with it too. I'm pretty much estranged from both sides of my family. Besides that, so like on my dad's side, and also on my mom's side, because when my mom and dad got divorced, they kind of stopped talking to my dad and I. And then when I lived with my grandma, I don't know, really, it was just very stressful, so they kind of stopped talking to us. They being my grandma and my uncle, because they lived together. My grandma's like 90 something, and my uncle's like, he's like 60 or probably close to 70 actually. That's weird. But so I don't know how they feel about it, but I don't care because I don't fucking bye. I'm actually kind of mad because my nana, my grandma on my mom's side. I hate her, and I'm honestly kind of mad that she doesn't disapprove of me being trans and queer, and just I want her to hate me. I know I shouldn't, but I just do. But this video is getting kind of long, so I think that's all I'll say for today. But see you again, hopefully on the 16th, if I can get myself to make a video on that day. So I will see you then.